Welcome to the Exes and Babies podcast, covering the good, bad, and the ugly of co-parenting. I'm your host, Sydney Swonigan, aka the Co-Parent Whisperer. Let's get into it. These fine folks are co-parenting, have been co-parenting. They're going to put us on to some game, how to co-parent well. But I just want to give a little backstory because I'm obsessed with Devorah. We met through the internet. So y'all have a podcast. I'm sure you're going to talk about it. They have their own podcast on co-parenting. And Devorah, we met on the internet. And we could have been like, oh, we're competition. But we're like, no, girl, how can we help each other? Ever since that call, like we just have so much in common. We have big dreams together. We have our kiddo that we love, right? She has a son, I have a son, which is crazy. Their son is Christian. Is that okay if I share his name? Okay. Mm-hmm. Their son's name is Christian. My son's name is Christian Dior, whatever. Anyways, I said to say, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. Go ahead, Devorah.
What's up, y'all? I am Devorah Story, and I am a model mom and a self-care advocate.
Yes, like literally a model. Like you are a model mom.
Like a full-time model.
Yes.
You know, it's ebbs and flows, but I also consider myself an entrepreneur too, as I am the founder of a group for women of color, the Story Collective, which I'm very, very passionate about the space, but it kind of leads back into what Cedric and I do together, just creating safe spaces and communities for people of color to build families, healthy families, and relationships, because I love love.
Yes, so important. What about you, Cedric?
My name is Cedric, obviously. Real estate investor, IT consultant, kind of leaning more towards the real estate full-time, and a dad, an overall entrepreneur. So that's pretty much it.
Bad. A lot of entrepreneurs in the room. We like to see it. But yeah, like I was kind of getting at, Devorah and I met on the internet, and we decided we were going to like share wisdom and be in community together, as we both want to do the same things, which is take care of the community. And we need as many hands on deck, right? And so we've actually come together. We're going to create a co-parent conference, which is going to be in the fall.
So
we'll give more details about that, but it'll be right here in Atlanta. I'm in Atlanta right now if y'all can't pick that up yet. But let's turn it over to y'all. Tell me about your relationship. Tell me about how you guys kind of got started and then got into the co-parenting world.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Okay, so we ended up. So quickly, we met at the gym years ago.
Okay, gyms, okay, that's still a thing, all right.
And then kind of started dating, obviously had Christian, and then ended up not working out. And then ever since then, we just kind of been figuring things out, like as we go. Obviously, there's been ups and downs, which is part of the process. Right. But then as we've kind of gotten older, and then life has really kicked in, we've kind of strategically figured out ways to make things work as co-parents. And I think our dynamic is, it can, from the outside looking in, it can kind of look kind of complexing, because people mostly associate co-parenting with friction and negativity, but we've kind of figured out a way that works well for us. Obviously, like, we're still growing, but I think the biggest thing is, as our son gets older, we have kind of became more of like a unit, right? So we kind of figure out what works well, what doesn't work well. And then as us both being literally full-time entrepreneurs, there's really no set playbook, right? So you're gonna have to call an audible in a host of situations. Like, prime example, yesterday, I just got back in town and I was gonna get Christian, but I had to go to a property. So she kind of stepped in and went and picked up our son. So it's just like we're not perfect.
Exhausted.
Yeah, but like, we're not perfect, but like, our biggest thing is just kind of figuring it out, right? And then hopefully, as business gets better for both of us, I can completely move out of the country, and then she can take over, because I don't want to be in. No, I'm just playing.
Which country you want to go to?
Probably Nigeria.
Okay, bad.
Yeah, but that's pretty much our story. Like we're learning every single day how to figure out what works well, and then also on top of that, just being a good example, because obviously our child is looking, right? So although we're not together and we both have our own situations independently, if we're dating somebody or talking to somebody, we still got to kind of figure out what can we do to show our son the proper way to be able to interact and communicate still as a family, just so that we don't kind of let him think that just because we're getting along, this is the norm. It's really not the norm. But
y'all are not the norm.
So it's just, we're just figuring it out.
Okay.
She pisses me off a lot, but
we have a lot of honesty. We're gonna have a lot of honesty, y'all.
But
That's why I love y'all.
But like, what happens is, I always look at things and I say, if people, like no one plans to be a co-parent. But if you think about it, do you know how stressful it is to be stressed out with your co-parent and then be trying to figure things out on a day-to-day basis? So my thought process was, what do I currently have going on in my life that I can alleviate as much stress as possible? And if you're developing a relationship or an ecosystem where you're like, let me not get into it with my co-parent, because that just makes it think life even more stressful.
Right.
If people look at it from that perspective, sometimes you may just hit up your partner like, hey, I'm about to come get Chris, or how your day going? That right there could alleviate a lot of stress.
Right.
So I think my growth really came when I was like, man, let me figure out a way to get along, because before we got to this point, she could call me and I could see her name and it would cause anxiety. And I'm like what's going on? But now it's like, let me see what she wants, or let me see what Christian doing. So, I mean, it's just growth. And we talk about that a lot on our podcast, like self-development, figuring out what works, and then just being like in the mental mind space where if she says something, I'm not looking at like she attacking me. I just be like, maybe she didn't mean like that. And then let me respond accordingly. So, but it just boils down to growth.
Okay, I love that. And I thank you for breaking that down. And I definitely want your take. Like, how have things been, transitioning into the co-parenting from dating? What were some of the things you guys had to navigate?
A lot. It's been a journey. I'll say that in general, I feel like the platform that we've created, when people see us, they see like this very happy dynamic, like we cool, like we friends, we kick it, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of it, part of the reason why we created and how we created the platform was to create it based on transparency. And so we do talk a lot about what's real, and we do share, like have a lot of those hard conversations, because that's the real behind the scenes that people don't get to see, because most people are only going to show the highlights of what they see from us. And even in their real lives, whether you're in a marriage, relation, whatever, you only want to, just life in general, people are highlighting what's good and what works. But for us, what's been helpful is to highlight what did not work and what were some of the problem areas. So to say the least, that is how we got here. And,
not to interrupt, but what are some of those struggles?
Communication, healing, letting go of the past, disassociating romantic responsibilities from parental responsibilities, like a lot of the things, legacy. People don't think about, this is a big one that just came up. We didn't talk about this on the virtual podcast, but even the idea of having to grieve a co-parent, because nobody's thinking about death. Right. But just recently, one of my girlfriends, her daughter lost her father. Oh, no. And it's like, people don't think that far ahead. And and what really got me was the fact that she was able to share his obituary on her social media platform, which is how I even knew that, this was taking place. And I just thought that was so powerful. And I think that it said a lot about her.
The mom.
And it said a lot about their relationship. And a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people aren't thinking about the fact that at some point we are going to go from this earth, and our children will grieve a parent. Right. And it's like, how do you support a child losing a parent if you hate that person, or if you haven't spoken to them, or y'all are not even communicating? So you send your child to the funeral by themselves? Right. How does that work?
That's a great question.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like, we got to really start preparing for life. And this is it. These are the opportunities. It's not going to be perfect. We can't wait for perfection to do it. So, and that wasn't the point of the question, but like, that is, I don't know, that was just so different, just a different angle of co-parenting than I've ever thought about myself, even as we have this platform.
Right. And it speaks to, what I'm taking from that is, it speaks to the idea that we can get caught up as co-parents or as parents. You don't even have to be divorced or separated, right? But we get so caught up in the day-to-day or the things that are frustrating us today. But not a lot of us are thinking about that 10 steps ahead, or 10 years, 5 years, is this going to matter type thing. Right. What's that bigger picture?
And I feel like a lot of the people that can do co-parenting are thinking about that bigger picture. Because if you're thinking about the micros of today, then like, it's gonna be difficult for me to pick up the phone and call him. But it's like, but if it's for Christian, this moment, yes, but then also down the line, like that actually compartmentalizes it a little bit better for me, so I can like handle this. And that it's a mindset. Right. But mindsets people develop when they work on themselves. And that's what done individually, and we've been able to do together.
So what are some things about y'all's personalities that like help the co-parenting dynamic, and what are the things that are a little bit more challenging?
That's a good question.
I think for me, we're opposites. Like I I I could not care more so versus caring, and I think it sounds crazy, but it's helped me because I think the times that I used to get irritated and annoyed by stuff that she said, I cared. But I mean, it kind of sounds crazy, but like she'll say something now, and like the old me, like she could say the same thing today that she said 5 or 10 years ago, and today I'd be like, whatever. Even if she did mean it like in a certain manner, or if it was a very aggressive manner, whatever. Like that's just her. But the old me, I would always feel an urge to defend who you talking to. But now I'm like, I don't even care because I got other stuff to worry about. So I think because now I'm kind of in the position where I'm like, I still communicate, but it's a different means of communication. Like if she says something and I could be like, it could kind of be taken out of context, my response might be like, okay. And that's it. But the old me, I would feel like there's a need to explain when you said this, but now I'm like, whatever. Like where's Christian at? So I think our personalities as we've grown, they've kind of been polar opposites, but the way that she is now helps the situation. The way that I am now helps it because I think, and she may get mad, but whatever. I think back in the day, she was very confrontational. And it was like a having to like prove yourself or having to make a point. And then I was the same way. But now she's still the same, but now because I'm not like, well, let me kind of get my point across and make sure you hear me out. I'm like, man, I don't even really care. So now that it's still growth because now that I'm not kind of headbutting her, she may catch herself like, oh, I kind of may have been a little aggressive. And then because I'm like, man, I don't even really care, she may catch it and then she'll come back, which is growth. Earlier, you know what, I may have said this and I didn't mean it like that. So, but that response wouldn't have came if I would have been like, well, you need to watch you talk. So now I'd be like, man, whatever. So it's just balance. And I think my personality now is just like, for one, I'm getting old. So I ain't got time for that. And then like mentally, I'm thinking like, and a lot of Black men got to think about this. Black men are dying left and right from heart attacks and stress. So now I don't care what it is. I try to figure out what is the best response to keep my blood pressure down. And that's literally how I think. Wow. So I'm like, you know what? Because I went to a doctor one day and I was like, yeah, I feel good, whatever. And I was like, yeah, I'm super healthy. He said, well, your blood pressure is high, but I didn't feel it. So what he kind of told me is that sometimes you can be stressed out and not really know it. Okay. So you need to basically be in a position where any situation that you're in, you figure out the best response. Right. Because if a person does something, your automatic reaction is to react to it, right? So now if she says some things, and it's not just me trying to figure out how to get along with her, it's what helps me keep myself mentally sane. I used to hold on to stuff. She'll say something and I won't say anything, and then she'll say something and I'll blow up.
Well, that's what I was gonna say too, is that I'm still the same and you're the same to a certain degree, but I think that there is I have way more information about you than I had before.
Like in what sense?
About like there were things that I would do when we were dating, I didn't know that made you feel that way. So now in hindsight, it's like now I can be, it wasn't like I was trying to be disrespectful. It was like, I didn't know that was disrespectful. It made sense. It's like you did something wrong. So this is how you talk. This is what you deserve. But no, I have the emotional maturity to understand why someone did something. Mm-hmm. So I don't have to respond just based on what was taking place. I can even go deeper to understand like, oh, he did this because of XYZ, not excusing it. Mm-hmm. So now I understand like, oh, he doesn't like when I talk to him. He doesn't like when I'm, when my body is moving a certain way or whatever. And not to say like, I'm, as my co-parent, like that's not my job to babysit anyone's emotions, but as my co-parent, because I need to be able to communicate with you, I do care about how my tone affects you or because I need to be able to get this through this conversation. Right. So I'm thinking about those things. Whereas before, I'm not thinking about that. I was 25 years old. I'm thinking like, no, nigga, that was wrong.
Well,
you did X, Y, and Z.
But like, check this out. And that's why a lot of relationships don't work, right? But you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So if I had to go back in time, I think most men aren't really intellectually intelligent enough to know how to respond in certain situations and what they need as men. But for me, I looked at my mom, and most people do that. Like, there's something about your mom that you may look into the opposite sex, and that may be something that you kind of are attracted to. A few things that I never seen my mom do. She never yelled at me. She never cursed at me. And like, I didn't grow up the best. And there's some things that I did. Like, I was in the streets selling drugs. My mom knew that. But my mom would use reverse psychology on me. And I would come in the house. I remember, I think like when I was 14, like, and the story is crazy. I can call mom right now and she'll vouch. I think I was like 13 or 14, and like I was in the streets just hustling, doing dumb stuff. And I think I may have brought home like $50,000, $60,000. My mom knew that I was doing something that I didn't have to do. But she didn't say, "Oh, you dumb mother effer, like, what are you doing?" My mom said, "That money that you brought in the house," she said, "you need to put it up, because," she said, "if I leave the house and it comes up missing, you're gonna be pissed." And I'm like, what type of response is that? But I didn't think that she knew what I was doing, but she wasn't dumb.
Baby,
But
I'm not about to get on to you for bringing $50,000 or $60,000 in my house.
yeah, but think about it. Like, most
That's
parents,
wild.
but I mean, but like, think about it. Like, most parents, like, my mom never really chastised me and like doing right and wrong. But her response is what made me think, like, if she knows what I'm doing, why is she not? But she always was the type of parent, she said, "I'm gonna let him figure it out." So eventually it's like, from that day, I went and got like a paper route. I started just doing all type of stuff, but it was more in legal terms, right? So one reason why I look back, because everybody's like, "Man, you and Devorah, y'all look good together. Y'all get along well, and why aren't y'all together?" I'm like, man, it's deep. And as I look back, why we didn't work, because she was very aggressive, and she can get disrespectful. But then I learned her story. I learned the relationship that she had with her father. So it's like, you really gotta, like, before you date people and you have sex with them, you got to really get to know people. But when you're young, you don't know those things. Like, when I'm young, I'm thinking about, ooh, big booty, fat. Oh, I'm about to. But it's like, no, seriously, no, seriously. But like,
I know.
but so if you look further along and things don't work, you like, dang, I could have figured out what her favorite color was, what her triggers were. But it's just like, if you're not trained to think that maturely so early, you are at a high risk of becoming a co-parent, right? So things didn't work between us because like, I didn't like the way that she talked, and she was super aggressive. And I'm like, why am I gonna let you talk to me crazy? And my mom never talked to me crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it's just all with growth. And that may be something that she's kind of learned about me. It ain't what you say to me, it's how you, like, you can call me the B word, but not say the B word. And I'd be like, dang, like, that's a good point.
I cannot.
But then if you call me that, I'm like I'm gonna turn up on you, like who you talking to? So I think that's what I think caused us not to be together, because it was her delivery, and I knew I was wrong 80% of the time. But what you say to me,
that was a portion.
No, that's all of it.
No, for
Chris,
you, for you.
Well, we're not talking about you. What you? I'm talking about me, because I think if I was open to trying to make it work, it would have worked. Because I left.
Okay,
you.
hold on. Now, you know, we did this episode already virtually, and I remember the other parts of the story.
What did I say last time?
I'm gonna let her do it,
baby.
I packed up and I got it. You know, I said, "Look, it's my way or the highway, baby."
He talking too much to be telling the truth. I'm gonna just say that.
Okay, let's
Testing.
pause here. Okay, Devorah, what's up? What's your take?
Baby,
Before you say that take though, before you say that take, I just want to say one thing.
And the growth.
Because y'all on a roll and I love it. I was gonna say one thing I want to pull up from what you guys are saying, just so the listeners get it. One, I'm hearing we evolve, we change, we grow, hopefully, right? It takes work. Because I know you both did some work individually, and we can get into that.
I'm still doing work.
Perfect. Even better.
Therapy,
even better.
all that.
And so, like, we're doing the work, right? And we're evolving. We're getting to know the other person, and we're trying to take ourselves out of it. Like, taking the sensitivity, the it's fine to take things. It's fine to have a reaction, but like thinking about, like you said, like, what is this reaction going to do for the conversation?
Correct.
What is this reaction going to do for my health? I love that you brought that up, especially men's health. Ooh, that's so important. Look that up. Men's health. Women's health too, obviously everybody's health. But I said to say, I just want to draw that out. One, I love that you guys have like taken the time to really get to know each other and decide how you want to productively have a conversation or get things done with that information versus what we do early on, which is like, what, you said what?
Yeah.
And like, yeah, go ahead. But then
I think accountability goes a long way. And so when I think about, like, I can take full accountability to the person that Cedric, that version of me that Cedric is speaking to, but I'm also self-aware enough to understand that I didn't wake up with that tone. I didn't wake up with that attitude. There was something that happened to me, and beyond him, that was just the surface level thing that will pull whatever happened to me, and cause me to act that way. Was it, should I, and then I have the conversation with our son all the time. Should I be able to say, hey, Christian, come pick up this sock very nicely and calmly and nurturing? Yes, I should be able to. But, the way that I say it on the first time versus the way that I say it on the 100th time will come out completely different. So, and then it's also like, if I'm saying something and not being heard, that was a deeper core thing for me personally, is, I recognize that as I've been doing my own personal growth, like, the version that he's speaking about, I needed to be heard. I needed to be understood. I needed to feel safe. And those were not things that I got growing up, but it wasn't his responsibility, but I didn't know that yet. And I didn't even know that that's what I was looking for. That's why that was the root or the trigger or the cause. I didn't know that I had to do the work. And here we are, Christian's 12, like 12 years later. It's like, now I can, for my partner, if I'm dating someone, I can say, hey, I need this because da 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 da, or I've worked on this and this is a level that I've gone, but if you take me here, this is what you might see, or this is why this exists, because I don't feel safe here. Or I can just remove myself altogether and not try to force that responsibility on someone else. But yeah, it was a lot of things that that transpired over the years that led us to the place that we were at. But like you said, thank God for evolution, thank God for growth. And
You got to want it though too, because I know people around the time that you and I were together and they were talking to certain people and their story's still the same. So it's got to be some level of self-awareness where you're like, and then it just boils down to peace and happiness, right? So people, you can see people together for 30 years and then you see them on year 31 and you like, dang, they completely change. Sometimes it takes people 30 years just to change. But for me, I was like, this isn't what I want. And then what you speak of can also be a reflection of your life, because I was like, man, I don't want to have a kid without getting married. Boom, a year later, I said, oh my God.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you got to want it, because she may still have a certain aggression towards me because of her past or because things didn't work. Or she could say, hey, you know what? Let's figure out how we can turn something where the world may see as a negative as a positive. Every single even women that I've dated, they'll refer to our platform like, you sure you and your child's mother aren't having sex or X, Y, and Z? And what that tells me is that we're showing the world something different.
Right.
Because
They're
most
not used to
people
that.
would have a high expectation of, oh, I hate my baby daddy, or I hate my baby.
That's what they expect
For
to
me,
see.
I don't want to go through that, because like, I want to be in a situation where, like, when I get married, like, we can all be in the same environment and it's healthy, right? So it's just like that self development has to occur, because I could have grown and she could not have, and we still be in the same place, or vice versa. So it's like, you really, I think people that are in situations, and even people that are married, you got to really look at things on, if we get a divorce, how are things going to handle? Like, how are things going to be handled? Because there's always emotion. I think we didn't really grow like that until we learned that even if we hate each other or dislike each other, we have to like or love each other or love our son more than we dislike each other.
Right.
And that's when my real growth came, because like, I don't want to be stressed out. And then we got to talk almost really every day, even when he's over 18. It's going to be something where we're going to have to communicate. So you both have to want it. And I've seen her wanting to become better. And I was like, you know what? It's only right if I give the effort, because you really owe it to yourself. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with a lot of that.
You better.
Oh my God, yes.
Jesus.
Cedric is on one.
So extra. So you asked the question earlier about like our personalities and like what were some strengths and weaknesses that helped and what were some things that didn't help. And so I think for this dynamic, the fact of the matter is, like, it really is a team effort. This cohort or this ecosystem that we created. And I think that the strength from me personally was the fact that I'm very passionate about Black families and Black family structure. And I do believe that kids can still thrive. We can still build healthy relationships outside of what reality is. The reality of the matter is not all relationships are going to work.
That's right.
Not all marriages will end with, everyone on their deathbed together. like people do break up, people do move on. And then now you have, and you said it earlier, you was like, nobody wants to be a co-parent. There are people that are actively choosing to become co-parents or even just single parents at this juncture of life. So this is what we're looking at. And I don't necessarily agree, but I'm just saying, like, this is reality for a lot of people. And so we have to figure out, how do we still create these, like, the success, like, how can we still create healthy lives and relationships and structure around these communities, even with life happening as it is, And so I don't know. I just lost my train of thought.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
I mean,
What
but
was I
I
trying
do
to bring
think,
together?
I mean, so I do see where you were going. And then to piggyback off what I said earlier,
yeah.
she is right. Because now that I think about it, I see so many situations, and not to kind of point towards a certain gender, but I do see it a lot. Women now are okay with having a child by a man as long as he's financially stable. And by default, you're putting yourself in a co-parenting situation. Like, there's a lot of celebrities that are having children by 10, 15 different women, and they're okay knowing that they're going to be financially taken care of. So I do kind of look at it differently now that she said that. Like, the world is changing. People are changing.
People are
So I think that
doing things
what
differently.
was the show, the Cosby show, that everybody wanted to kind of like resemble the black family. Like, you have your picket
Huxtables.
fence, you have, people don't care about that no more. Like, I know situations where women will have children by men, put them on child support, they're taken care of, they're getting $40,000-$50,000 a year, and they're happy. So, like, the world is
Like
really,
a month? No, okay.
yeah. I mean, like,
could
that's
do
a
that
lot
for a month.
I mean, like,
No,
the
I'm just
world is
kidding.
changing, man, and it's
Yeah.
really kind of scary because like, people are divorcing, like, they're changing socks and drawers. They're like,
Oh,
whatever,
no.
move to the next. Seriously. So
No,
it's
I
just
hear you.
like,
This change.
now I think about, like, what she said, and, like, she's right. Sometimes people, I think the world has changed where people don't care if they're co-parents, but now they may be co-parents, but or they may choose that they're okay with that, but then the situation is very, very toxic.
Right.
So it's just like, y'all in trouble.
Right.
You women are in
No, we're not.
We're not joking. We have to.
No,
Hopefully
we're
because
not.
we're empowered to have we don't have to stick
Like,
with
y'all
men that
got it
aren't doing
hard.
it for us anymore.
I think that
right?
that's what you're seeing too, is like, women are not waiting.
We're
for
not
men.
waiting for men to grow up.
We're not waiting.
We're not
But then
about to
what y'all-
suffer.
So then what's
But that's what I'm saying. But women are not waiting. Now, again, I'm not saying go out here and become a single mother. I'm saying that women are not waiting, meaning that we were waiting for men before we could buy the house. We were waiting for men before we could go travel and before we could, have the kids. But people are like, no, I'm not doing that. And even if, like, waiting sometimes looks like leaving something and waiting again. Like, I went through this marriage, I did it the right way. It still didn't work out. And so I'm not going to stay here because I'm miserable. I'm not going to allow my children to stay in this space and just to say that we have a happy house when this is not a happy house, So it's like, I don't know. I just feel like there's just like a different mindset that people are having when it comes to this space. But for me personally, the angle is to build. It's not to be separate. It is for Black families to be together and to thrive. So my point, I'm not doing all this work for Christians to go out there and be like, I want to be a co-parent now.
No.
I'm not saying that. I want
But you
to
have
give him the
choice.
tools to be able to go create a healthy family, relationship, marriage, whatever that looks like. I want you to go be able to create it because you had an example which it didn't look necessarily like the stereotypical marriage, but this is still a healthy relationship. And now he has the tools to go just give him a hope that he can go create something that could be recreated after that. You know what I'm saying? So that's my goal here with the space.
I love that. And it's very clear that you guys are very much aligned on you want to build Christian up, and you guys are modeling what that looks like, whether hopefully Christian can stay with his partner, but if not, like you said, building can look like you're together or you're not together. But when you have a child in the equation, you got to build. Right. Now, unfortunately, we have to wrap soon. So any final words that you want to share with co-parents?
What you got?
Just do the work.
Do the work. What's the work? Is it therapy? What is it?
I mean, to be honest with you, it's everything. But every situation may look a little different. We make it look easy, but it's not easy, especially I know her situation, my situation, we weren't left with money. So we're literally creating our legacy. We're really trying to put Christian in a situation where he doesn't have to work as hard as we do. Because for me, I know I'm lacking in many areas because the emotional intelligence part, it took a while because I'm focusing on making money. I'm focusing on raising a son. So it's like the stuff that a black man would need to be mentally like feel safe. I didn't have that. So just do the work and try to build together. I mean, it'll be a lot easier, but.
Yeah. I would say, heal. Go focus on yourself, and even before we become co-parents, because again, the platform is not to encourage people to become co-parents. It is to prevent and then to maneuver and make something that is
Your
dysfunctional
platform?
functional.
Your co-parent,
Yes.
the co-parenting goals. Okay,
Yes,
got it.
to again, not to encourage people to become co-parents, but if this is your situation, or if you do find yourself in a space like this, that you can still be okay. That life is not over just because your relationship did not work out, and your child's life is not over just because that situation did not work out. Do the work. If you feel so bold about becoming a co-parent or parent in general, do the work. Lay the foundation for your children so that they don't have to work as hard. You don't have to work as hard. It's possible, co-parenting is possible, but it's harder when you don't know the person, when you're not healed, when you carry a whole bunch of baggage, when y'all don't have the same goals. Like, I know those are not all things that you can control for, but there are some of those things you can control for, and it's important to be thinking about those things even before you become a co-parent, like, or even before you get married or even date as children.
Yeah.
Like, y'all gotta be thinking about this stuff. Like, it's real life out here, and it hits very quickly. Once it happens, it's quick. Like, Christian is 12 now, so
and the time is going by fast. My
gone.
goodness. Well,
And
go
I know,
ahead.
so yeah, just like be real quick. So to piggyback off what she said, it's still very hard because and I said
What's it?
Just figuring out a way to think about maybe being co-parents, because just the human mind changes. You go through different seasons.
Right.
So what she's seeing right now, I may go through a situation where I may become a billionaire. I'm going to change. I may become broke. I'm going to change. So that's why I go back to say, just do the work and constantly watch the changes that you do and just try to evolve. But co-parenting is not as easy as we make it look. But like she said, you just got to kind of figure out what works best and just do the work.
And I hope that nobody looks at our platform and think that it's easy, because it's not. And that's definitely not the story that I would ever try to sell, because it's not.
I'm going to tell her something like after we cut the camera, but like, it's crazy. People look at us and
okay, now you got to tell us, because now cliffhanger.
I don't know if I can. No, I'm not going to say it.
All right, cool. Well,
but stay tuned.
Where can they find y'all?
Find us at the Co-Parent Goals on Instagram. Okay. We should have a podcast relaunch happening in September.
Okay, bet.
If timelines stay on, but just follow. Just follow us on social media, and you'll find us.
The Co-Parent Goals.
Yes.
Goals, yeah.
Bet. Love
yes.
it. Thanks,
yes,
y'all.
yes.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
All right, keep doing the good work.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for watching. Please click like, subscribe, and share.